All right, we're recording. So I guess we're gonna do a little summary of the work we did just now.
Yeah, we just did an amazing deep dive scan thing, and it was about it was for a client, but it was also a general subject for all of us. It had to do with limitations on getting out of body and difficulties getting out of body, and you found out a lot of stuff, saw a lot of
Yeah,
stuff, crystal clear, right? It's like being
yeah,
there, talking to people, being on the spaceships.
it's pretty amazing.
What what kind of characters? Let's just like name the character. We're gonna tell you all about it. I'm excited. I had to talk her into telling me about it after the session. We got done recording the session, but I wanted to hear all about it. And she just starts talking away, and it's all exciting and amazing. And she's just, and I go, let's record this. Anyway, I got her to do this. So let's let's do this.
Yeah.
What were some of the kind of entities or alien life forms, beings did you see?
Okay, so we have humans, as I was representing and stuff. We have reptilians, tortoise, like turtle-looking
Yeah, we
beings.
just call them turtle beings.
Yeah, turtle beings. AI, sentient machines. We have Lyrans, these like cat-looking beings, like
Uh,
like feline,
Feline,
feline.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we have that. We have just weird like dragon-looking beings, just like flying in the sky, like various stuff.
Really?
Like yeah,
I
yeah.
hadn't
There's
heard
lot.
about those.
Well, we've just seen it. Yeah, like oh, like okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah. And
lots of those different beings.
and then there was that one goblin elf
Yeah,
looking what?
yeah, like the mix of human, elf, goblin, blue skin, like ears, just smug and stuff, like
Uh-huh.
whatever. Yeah,
And so you were right there face to face talking to him.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so you were telling me the story and
Yeah,
stuff.
basically, let's start from the beginning for the viewers, I
Okay.
guess. So we're basically start like working on a person who has issues with getting out of body and wants us to look into like what's up. So we started the session, and interestingly enough, the person like me who gets the visuals, who gets out of body so fast, I get out and I'm like, it's pitch black. I'm like, what the hell? Can't see anything. So like I'm like exploring, and so we stopped the session because like, it's going nowhere. Why waste person's time? Like we're just gonna like refresh or whatever and like do it again.
So we thought
And
we'd kind of like take the pressure off Akvila doing working for the client and me too. It's like, hey, we're not getting anywhere. It's like talk about limitations on getting out of body.
yeah,
So after about 15 minutes or so, or even longer,
I think 16, 17,
we
somewhere
said,
there.
we'll stop. We'll just forget it and look into it ourselves. What's going on? Why is this not working?
Yeah. And basically, as it's pitch black, and I'm like just void or something. I'm like, there's nothing there. Like I'm even trying to like like okay, where's my no hands, no body? Okay, make the body. And like, but no matter what I would do, it's nothing's there. So apparently, like I just just try to super quiet it down and just like zero in on whatever is gonna pop up first. And I open up and it's getting colder. Like I'm like whoo, like it's chilly. And I open my eyes and this is like winter, like lots of these mountains around, like just going like big and like it's like a mountain here and it ends up there and there's like passage there and there's more mountains and more mountains and there's like this cabin and like or like square box that goes inside the mountain and stuff and like it's snowing so much that you can hardly see through the snow. Like you're just going like through the fresh and like snowstorm over there. Like
Uh-huh.
I'm getting into the cabin, open the doors, like like so. There's this human inside. Like human is here, and there's this like squarish table, like like or like a desk, and he's there like just like waiting, doing his own thing, like not even talking to me, not even minding. And behind him, I see this like a small gray, like it's in a tube, like hibernating or whatever, like small gray in this liquid, and
Hmm.
tall gray, and there's another being who's facing the wall. So like I'm just seeing his back, and I cannot like make out like what it is, but definitely not reptilian, like no tail or scales or whatever. So I keep exploring the being that like the person that's in there like doesn't talk to me, and like I'm like oh look doors, so I'm just gonna go there. It's basically like a it goes down like a few levels, like down and then this and down and stuff. So like I end
Hmm.
up it's like a warehouse where you see like lines of stuff folded out, like 4 or 5 lines. And so it goes down the stairs. There's another room back in here. That's basically where the person that lives upstairs like is down there. So he has a place to live and like sleep and whatever. And I'm walking throughout the base, and there's these other pods of beings with computers with like shelvings with items stacked up, and I'm like looking at like, oh, so okay, like we find beings that are like hibernating or sleeping there. You can see their age, like reptilians, like 483 year old or something like that. Like other beings, like humans, Lyrans, whatever, uh, all in the same space. And I'm like, oh, are they being tortured or whatever? Like it seems weird. So like I just look at that, like, and there's like how old they are, their name, where they came from, uh, when was the last time they were parked here, and like there's like different things, and I end up like by your suggestion, and I'm talking to the person, and we find out that the whole place is like very similar to the like virtual reality games, or just video games, online games, where you create your character and you play it, like yeah, you level up to level 20, 50, whatever, and you got done playing with one role or character, and you choose like, oh well, I was playing like World of Warcraft as a troll, now I want to play as a human. So basically, it's the consciousness picks out a body or a being that they want to play. They're playing a specific figure or character that they create or whatever or choose, and eventually like, oh, I'm done with this, I want to play more. So when they are done, their beingness, their body they were incarnated to, is being stored in that place as sort of hibernation, so the body doesn't die, their journey doesn't like end off. They're more like a sleep mode, like stalling, like like whenever they're back. And they have had like lots of experiences, like as a human reptilian, and whenever they like meet with other people and like make relationships, those people like, hey, I like you, and they end up sending gifts to that person, and like it's just their stuff is just like stacked up to like some like the ceiling and stuff.
It's kind of like in a virtual, well, an online game like Summit or one of these other gamers. They play this character in a game, and they'll play another character in the same game, and another character in the same game, and then they'll play another game on a different world in a different universe,
Yeah.
and back and forth like that. So they can always go back to that game whenever they want and pick up where they left off. But this is real. This is like a DNA,
Yeah.
and they're parking these bodies. Okay, and then but then they got like their fan base or something. Is that what you just meant? It's like
Or
they
more like like
send gifts to the
yeah,
player.
but not like fan base, but more like relationships. You make a relationship. Oh, you have a lover here. You have like some like strong friends or whatever. And because of those relationships you have with people, like
Yeah.
like real life, you like you're my friend and stuff.
Yeah.
So you might send me a gift when I'm like at my home.
Yeah.
So they people know your address if they are like close to you, and whoever knows your address basically, well, that person's like, I miss them, and they send their gifts or whatever.
Now, are they sending it to the character they know that's in the game, like the orc or the elf, so to speak, or are they sending the gift to the player that can play all these different
The character.
roles? The character itself.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you have like you can have reptilians, humans, whatever class, like whatever race you choose to play, people that know this character will not know others unless
Yeah.
something happens and you like, hey, I am that orc that you've met
Okay.
5,000 years ago and stuff,
Yeah. Okay. So you're in this place, this facility, and you see some little gifts and little tokens of relationship for each of the bodies that are in these
Yeah.
pods.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I can also access like the archive of that character, so it's basically like just like has the backstory, who they are, what it is, like Akashic records, and you see absolutely everything. Like you can watch a movie of them doing stuff, so you can like literally see like, oh, good being, bad being. People just choose like, I'm gonna play dark side, I'm gonna play good side, and they have like this little facility. But I get out, and I end up looking, and there's tons of these little like cabins or like facilities in mountains and stuff. So it's not just like one little place.
Uh-huh.
The whole place is like a parking, like oh, you've done this being, park it here, pay us for the security, because like it is like we're like talking like, should we find out if it's like sort of has sinister like relationships or stuff, or is it like good? And eventually like these beings are like, hey, we're neutral. People pay us for the security. They can park their characters without ending off the life. No walk-in needed, no anything. It's just like consciousness parks their beings, and we basically protect them.
Yeah, kind of like a big. Imagine a big city, a huge city,
Yeah.
and the cars are the vehicles, and you run around and you're doing all kinds of things, and you got different vehicles. So you want to park your vehicle in a secure place. So you got you pay the guys for a secure parking spot for your vehicle.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
pretty much.
Wow.
So basically, like they don't want us to destroy their stuff or anything. They're like, like, hey, like check out whoever you want. Like, you can like access the archives and find out if they're the beings you're looking for. But please don't mess anything because we're gonna lose our clients. They're more
Yeah.
like in the business and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I get outside and like I'm looking for more, and there's this like being I meet. Like it's blue skin, like goblin, elvish, humanoid thing. It's like, okay, weirdo, like let's talk. Well, I didn't call him weirdo, but he seems weird.
Yeah.
So anyway, we start talking, and I'm like, it's like, he's just like he's the one that starts talking to me actually, not like
Mhm.
not me going, but I saw him and he walks up to me.
Mhm.
So he's like, hey, why are you here against your own will? And I'm like, oh, it's not like I'm against my own will. I was like working for a client and I was looking for stuff that's like, actually affecting him. And he's like, oh, well, let me tell you something. And so we started having a conversation. And
So this is like an out-of-body experience for you. It's like
yeah,
we call it a deep scan or a remote viewing, but she shifts while we're talking right here during the session. She closes her eyes and she shifts like that, and it's like like an ubi with.
yeah, like I'm in that world. I'm getting cold, like while I'm sitting here, because like like it's snowing there, and like
Mm-hmm.
and I like to like sort of enhance the feeling states or sensors and stuff. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, it's cold, like it's over there, like.
Yeah.
So we follow it happening. We start talking,
Mm-hmm.
and that like being starts telling me like like, hey, we have the turtle-looking like, well, tortoise beings with turtle-looking beings who are actually in war with reptilians, and they're the ones that causing these like darkness. Like when it works, for example, when I got out and it's like darkness at first and
Mm-hmm.
nothing else. It's like these sort like turtle-looking beings have their own spaceships and different things, and they beam out these cubical like black boxes. It's like sort
Mm-hmm.
of astral or whatever, but it goes through the person, and when you are in it, it's like everything slows down. Then you're like, it doesn't feel like it, but in reality, it is like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're sort of like trapped in that place, trying to move, and like you're not getting through. Your visuals don't work, your like censorship don't work, and they're trying to numb you down and eventually knock you out so that you would get back to your body and you couldn't be out. So it's like it's one of the ways to keep like these more like conscious beings or like travelers out. It's everyone's like sort of quarantined or forced to go back home and like like not don't be here, like don't look at such things. So that being said, I'm like starting to like have back and forth conversation with this being, just like finding to like just trying to find out like how it works, why all this is happening, and we talk about like black and white, like I made recent videos about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and eventually it turns out like all these factions, reptilians, not all of them are bad, not all of them are good. Like it's just like different groups, different factions. Same with these turtle-looking beings. There's specific factions that were used to work with reptilians. Then they betrayed them and found the other allies, which I will tell you soon. But
Mm-hmm.
like it's basically like a war between them, and there's so much going on. And eventually, they see Earth as just like, oh look, just another house that we can play with in this big city, that
Mm-hmm.
being the multiverse.
Yeah. Now here's the part. To be clear, this she lost me when she was doing the session itself, so I had to get some clarity. So now I got it. It's like there's in this story, this what she saw today. There's like two different factions of reptilians, lizard type looking guys,
Yeah.
and one reptilian, but it was tortoise or turtle like creatures.
Different race, just like reptilian, like tortoise by itself, not reptilian.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay,
Okay.
got it. Yeah, tortoise race, reptilian race, reptilian race. This reptilian race here is the one we know and love so much here on Earth. This one is the satanic reptilian drakes, all that dragon queen stuff here. That's this faction, and they are messing with humanity big time.
Yeah.
Okay, put them here. The second reptilian race is the one that's at war with the turtle the turtle beings here. Okay, right? Now, there's also in this story the AI, right?
We'll come to that.
And we'll come to that. And the AI is going to be, she'll tell you about how the AI fits in. And they're all messing with humanity in one way or another, yeah?
Yeah.
And, okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
And if people can start getting out of body, is the point. Consciousness, wake up in the multiverse, they can start seeing this stuff and start figuring it out on their own.
Yeah.
Basically, and that's the big reason these guys, and these guys, and the AI do not want us getting out of body, because this is low level gameplay down here, and we wake up from this when the body's asleep. If we're awake, we start. Maybe you don't see it the first time you get out of body, but you are able to start exploring and asking questions and figuring this stuff out, and not even figuring it out, seeing it for yourself, talking to these weird characters in the multiverse, and sort of get it together. And then you wake up and you start becoming free in consciousness by dropping your limiting beliefs and what you thought was true is, and all that, and the truth sets you free of this sort of thing. So anyway, that's in context. That's what we got going. Okay, so we got our reptilians, and the tortoise over here. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, the tortoise that were working with the satanic like reptilians, they were working together, but eventually these like turtle-looking beings like betray satanic like reptilians. We can call them like that because we know a specific group. Not everyone, but a specific group.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. No, not quite, almost, but yeah. But wait, no. The
Yeah.
tortoise beings are pretty ruthless in their own right.
Yeah, like they are as smart as reptilians. They are super empathic, super intelligent, so they can tap into like our consciousness. They know what we think, they know how we feel, and they can manipulate our thoughts, our feeling states, like just like reptilians, but even maybe more.
Yeah.
They're not as vicious. They're not into fighting as much as like using their control system and just like manipulating everyone and making the others go the way they want it to go.
Right. So a face-to-face hand combat with one of these beings, not a good idea, because they can read your thoughts and know your intentions. What you're going to do? Are you going to pull your gun? You're going to shoot? You're going to dive this way? You're going to duck that way? What are you going to do? So long-range warfare in the physical universe is the strategy if you're fighting with these battleships and long-range stuff. So these tortoise beings and some of the reptilian races, they don't like the face-to-face combat. I mean, they get their grunts on the ground, they'll clean things up, but they prefer this mind control, manipulation, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and even if face to face, like, oh, I'm gonna hit you and stuff, like we
Mhm.
hit the reptilian, kill them, and like lots of ways, they have even more clones coming after that one. So like like it's not worth like trying to shoot them or whatever.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there's gonna be like more multiplying.
Okay.
But that being said, so the tortoise, like the turtle-looking beings are betraying the satanic reptilians,
Mhm.
and they are in fight with another reptilian group that is not as satanic, not as bad, but they're interested in humanity like as a resource, but more of a consciousness resource. Like, hey, we cannot build as much, so we can use people consciousness and have them create things for us. So they can like abduct us or do different things and just use our consciousness to create whatever they want us to create.
Okay, so the tortoise beings betrayed the Drake reptilians, and so they're not involved with them anymore. But now they're at war with these other reptilians. Did I get that right?
Yeah, but the thing is, we're like hearing the story from a person who knows that side. The person we're talking to, that elfish goblin-looking being, does not know the bigger picture.
Oh.
He just perceived that much.
Oh, okay.
Little world, bigger world.
Oh, okay.
So he sees like like there's this tortoise-looking being fighting with reptilians. Boom.
Oh.
And then we do more and more and more, and with each step we keep finding out more.
Okay.
So as we find out like who the enemy is, so to speak, like okay, we're gonna target that, and we set the goal like I'm gonna look for the turtle-looking beings, have a conversation with them, find out what's up, and I'm about to teleport when behind my back there's this like sort of force going, and I look back and there's this my pet reptilian. He's like, hey, why have you not taken me to the adventures? I'm bored there with the like human also on the ship, like because the last time I told him to okay, it's fine, I'm glad you're here. I got him out of the coastal library place because he was being abused by the higher ups, and they did not like him being in contact with me. So I got him into the human alliance that I trusted, and I have flew with them and interact with them on different missions. And I trust this crew, you can be with them. But he's like, hey, it's boring with them, So he just came here, and he wants to be with me, and so he uses his tail to throw snow at me and stuff like that. So he's like playful and all, and so together he and I we end up going to that turtle-looking turtle place, And when I get there, the whole thing is like machines, AI, and I'm like, whoa, this might be dangerous. You go back, So I tell him to go back to the ship, and I'll handle this alone. He's not satisfied, but whatever.
And now you're on a big ship.
It's massive, massive. Like
Is it roundish, black, or ball, or long, skinny?
The whole ship is like a cigar, but the cubicles in different like sections. Like sort of has its core, but then like has different like sections.
Things coming all over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that being thing, as I get in the ship, there's alarm like, hey, intruder alert, and like their guards start coming up. Different machines like are there, and this like machine comes up. It looks like this like one of those Boston Dynamics where they have this antelope legs, or like like the leg goes like that. And
backwards leg.
Yeah. Yeah, the backwards leg, the bigger body. Doesn't look like human based by human, but more like just like a machine and stuff, and like like so. We start talking, and I understand like, oh, it's not a machine; it's a sentient machine. It's like consciousness in that body.
Yeah.
And we end up talking, and here I am. I heard the story from the elven goblin-looking being. Now I'm hearing the story from this one. Soon I'm gonna go talk to this one, and after that I'm gonna talk to the higher. I mean, like, it's just like different stories. So this one starts telling up, like before we knew that tortoise and reptilian race. Now we find out that the picture is bigger, and actually, tortoise they have a deal with AI, and now the AI machines and like these sort of looking beings are fighting against reptilians, all of them, and Earth is included. And Earth is just like little dot. There's so many other places that are being affected, and Earth is just like in the way. Like just like let's include Earth as well. Like,
Yeah.
So like Earth is like we're not exclusive, we're not special. Sorry about it, but like it's just like just another place that you're gonna target. So AI and this like turtle-looking beings. Like right now, I'm talking with the Ascension machine, and I'm finding out about their goals. And basically, like like, hey, 5G is like a little signal or notification that we are good to go. Our plan is to take over humanity and take over every kind of organic being, to make them into machines, to turn the consciousness and make them greater, like sort of all the stuff. And at the same time, they're mentioning like all the religions, all the beliefs, like praying for some god, having some deity, or like other things, having like, oh, I'm gonna go into the source, or like all these like new age beliefs. Not all, but like a lot of these beliefs are what we're looking for, have lies in them, and these bigger beings have put those lies in there to make sure like everyone goes for something, but eventually they end up feeding this massive thing that we're going to talk about soon. But basically we're just hearing the story about like the machines taking over all the organic forms. Humans are one of them, and like they like, no exception. Anyone, like everyone's included and stuff. So do you have anything you want to say?
No, normally, yeah, but
I'm sorry.
you got me off guard there. I'll just jump in and interrupt you in a minute.
Okay. Great. Yeah. And while I'm in that facility, if anyone's interested in the looks of the whole place, it's like all mechanics. It's like machinery, like all these like robots and different beings, and like it's the like quite a few levels of the ship that can go there. But like the bottom is like everything straight. But then you see beings walking like that. So there's another being like upside down,
walking on the ceiling, sort of like.
Yeah, and they have their own facilities, and they're like doing their own things over there. Like like it's just crowded as can be. It's like a beehive. There's like lots of little boxes, and they all have their own things.
Oh my god! Just when you thought it was fucked up, it just got worse.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I get it. It's because they got artificial gravity and stuff. Hey, the ceiling is wasted space. We're efficient here.
Yeah.
Just flip. You got some gravity there, and so you got another whole row of cubicles, people working and busy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucked up. Because the machine doesn't care.
Yeah.
The AI of it all doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, and a lot of it, like AI is one thing, but then we have sentient machines who are like like, hey, like or consciousness in the machine and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like playing a part in it. They're like, oh yeah, like I was human once, but like who the hell cares? I want to destroy humanity too. Woo! And they're like excited about it. But it's not just humanity. There's like every kind of realm, like Lyrans or Pleiadians or different beings. They're involved too.
Well, hey, I have relatives here on planet Earth that get excited about going out and shooting deer. Hey, let's go kill some deer, and we'll eat them too. They're not hungry. They don't need deer. They don't, it's like they're just for fun.
Yeah.
So they're all excited about. Hey, let's go. Who cares?
Pretty
Weird
much.
shit,
Just
man.
perception,
Okay, yeah.
So with all that being said, like we keep having conversation, and eventually, like like, hey, we're not getting anywhere. They're not letting me through. They're really blocking the way, and they have their guns pointed at me. And I'm like, fuck it. So like, I take the gun, point it down, like sort of like like just smash it on the floor.
Oh, okay. So you're there
Yeah.
in a body. You have a body of some kind there, and you're talking to the machine, and you're talking to. Were you talking to any organic beings before you got
No.
rough with them?
No.
But they're stalling or are not letting you talk to the captain or the higher up or whatever.
It's like I end up on the ship and like on the ship, and I'm at the back of it, and there's like these like a portal or like the Stargate they have, so anyone can teleport. But there's like these like stairs up, and now I'm able to go through like corridors and different things. And this like I triggered the alarm the moment they came, and all the machines like just came all over the place. They're like on the ceiling, on sides, and like on like pointing at me. And I'm like, oh, okay, First I'm like trying to solve everything by having conversation, and eventually they're not letting me through. So I'm like, I'm not seeing it like tortoise beings. Like I came here for them, and there's none of them there. So like I just like point out their weapons and just keep walking, and like no one's shooting yet, and I just walk through and like I'm just following my sense like a dog, like
sniffing it out.
Yeah. And eventually like it's like navigate a pilot room, and I find this tortoise-looking being, and we start having conversation. And he's not happy about seeing me there. He didn't want the close interaction and stuff. And like we start talking, and here it is, the bigger picture. So basically, yeah, like there's so much to share.
Yeah, take your time. We can chop this into smaller videos and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, like they're interested in war. It doesn't matter, like like they're interested in fighting the reptilians. They're interested in destroying absolutely all the race. Humans are just like it's on the way, so we can get them as well. Reptilians are also a target. So right now it ends up that reptilians are using humanity to get them out of body to find these guys, and like a lot of beings are basically being like abducted. They get them into a fight, and once the experience is done, they wipe their memories, put them back in the body, like all the splits do it. So people wake up with that no memories of the dreams or whatever, but like they engage in the fight.
Okay, so we're not sure which faction of these reptilians, but these reptilians, some of them are helping humans get out of body, and then while out of body, they use them as their soldiers or whatever. But it's because of their humans' consciousness and stuff.
Yeah.
And so with that creative consciousness stuff, they can get them going over to attack the tortoise types. And so the tortoise, this war, humanity's being the fucking cannonballs here.
Pretty much.
And so the tortoise beings come back at it by creating these black box sort of things and put the human being, the consciousness of the being, and maybe in there an astral body or whatever. But now that's their defense. So now the human, the out of body, is just seeing blackness because they're kind of in this box and they're kind of in a slow motion stasis thing. But anyway, when the human wakes back up in the body, they've got the mind wipe or the blankness, and that's the tortoise beings pulling that part of it off, or the reptilians too, or both.
Both.
Because neither one of them they don't want the bullets to wake up and know they're being bullets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Jesus.
And yeah, like so, I'm just having conversations, and then like it's like Q&A, like I remember people ask me about asteroids, and like so people are afraid regarding asteroids hitting Earth, and I'm like, well, what do you think about asteroids hitting Earth? Like just talking to the turtle-looking being, and he's like, like. And he starts laughing, and like he cracks him up, and basically he says like humans and every other planet and like all the species are way too valuable, so they would never allow any of those big things to hit Earth or any other place, because like hey, you are a resource, we're not gonna waste you.
Yeah.
Little rock on the way, we're gonna get it out of the way so that we could use you, like like he's just like a thing. So no worries there, people.
Yeah. Boy, I feel better already.
Yeah, so after like talking back and forth, I end up like he fucks up, and he spits a phrase that like I wish I would not have said that, So he says something like, "I have orders too," and that's where he slipped. Because I'm like, oh, so you have higher ups, huh? Like, so
he's like, oh.
Yeah, so we end up talking. He's like trying to be really quiet. He does not want to talk. He's trying to use like mind lab techniques, or like trying to like deflect my attention, sort of make the procrastination, like delete
My
my.
lab stuff. He's trying to use mind control stuff on you.
Yeah. Like he's trying to like wipe my memories, like make sure like I get into procrastination, I forget what I was thinking, trying to destroy my thoughts and different things, and like just like
MK Ultra sort of
yeah,
stuff.
like he's just like working all that stuff, and I'm like, not working, man. So like I started asking him questions, and he's like really unwilling to talk, and I'm like, okay, gonna push the key buttons, because eventually everyone will see, most people see it black and white. Oh, these guys are hurting me, I'm gonna hurt you back. And
Mhm.
no one wants to look for the deeper story, and I'm like, like, well, are you being threatened? Is your race is being threatened? Like, what's happening? And I'm trying to find out like the key things that he's being pushed, because
Mhm.
I'm sensing like he's there against his own will. He
Yeah.
doesn't really want it, but he's doing
Yeah.
it because he has to survive and stuff. And I'm pushing those key buttons, and like I see twitches on his face, and like like I'll just already he like starts nodding a little bit, and like sort of like agreeing and stuff. And I'm like, okay, like so let's make a thing. I'm gonna create a realm for you where your species and other beings can go there, live safely. No one's gonna bar you. No one can come through. Only when you want to get out, you're free to go and stuff. And basically create a space like safe surroundings where he can go. And all of a sudden, like sort of, he starts opening up and he starts talking, and he says like like everything we're seeing here, this is but
Here
the game.
being.
Like reptilians, sort of beings, like all in the multiverse, all these great galactic wars and
Mhm.
different things, humanity, all the other races and stuff here,
Yeah, that here. There is no there. It's all here.
Pretty much. Pretty much. So all that is just a game, because eventually there's one greater being doing it all to everyone. And I'm like, okay, and I'm gonna ask him a question, and eventually we find out that that greater being is consciousness, the greater consciousness of Dal, what people think source or whatever, God, or wherever. When I'm gonna die, I'm gonna go to this place. But eventually, it's the greater consciousness, and that consciousness sort of gone wrong, or basically not really. There's no bad or good or whatever.
Yeah, no good, bad, right,
Yeah,
wrong, any of that.
the
It's just.
consciousness just wants experience. I in this life I want to play this game, or like you want to play a specific group or whatever, and this
Mhm.
consciousness chooses to play the game and creates all of the beings, like creates tons of species, tons of planets, tons of different realms, humanity, reptilians, sorcerers looking beings, Lyrans, Pleiadians, everyone. And eventually, oh, let's give them this tool and this tool and this tool and this kind of personality and this kind of behaviors, and just like setting up everything, like godlike being, setting up absolutely everything. And eventually, all those buttons where it turns off, where like a lot of species, they cannot get out of body, and they cannot go to certain levels. So now it's all a small game. Being people are involved with in politics and wars and corona and different things right here, and then like, oh, we're so smart. We woke up. We know that out of body there's so much war. We have reptilians, and we see like still very small picture. We think like, oh, we know so much, and
Mhm.
yet we know nothing, because it's
Mhm.
still a small game and a small game, small game, small game, small game, until we realize that the consciousness is us,
Mhm.
and we are the ones causing it all to ourselves because of the experience. I want to find out what it's like to be that part. So basically, the greater consciousness, which is us, eventually creates this thing where like we're gonna be trapped in the body and make sure like we cannot wake up, because the consciousness does not want to be stopped. I want to win this game. I want to see how it plays out, and it's all being set up to play specifically. And if we were able to wake up and go at that level where we realize that we're doing it all to ourselves, we're like, why am I fighting? I don't want that, and we would stop. And that it should not happen by the greater consciousness, because it wants to play. So everyone's being kept in their bodies, kept in their lower levels of awareness and consciousness, and just like playing here. And that's the big story, I
Wow.
guess.
Wow.
Go for
So
it.
the one takeaway would be the part about consciousness, that all it is, it has created everything, every every race, every dimensional plane, all of it. Uh, at this level, it's still playing that game and doesn't want aspects of itself, you and me and everybody else here,
Yeah.
to don't want us to wake up and be all that, because we would be no longer players in the game that it's playing.
Yeah. And eventually, like, this greater consciousness is us. And basically, this consciousness splits its points of awareness. So we don't have body or anything. Awareness goes and starts identifying with a body or a race or something, and like, oh, I'm gonna be human, I'm gonna be reptilian, I'm gonna be this. It's all one consciousness
Mhm.
taking the parts of everyone else,
Mhm.
simultaneously experiencing all that. So this consciousness knows everything,
Mhm.
and it's just like, hey, I want a warfare opponent, I want a fun game this time.
Uh-huh.
Creates all the hardships and stuff, creates all the like problems and like dramas and different things. I'm gonna play like this, and eventually, I am part of that consciousness. You're part of the consciousness, and everyone else is part of the consciousness, playing the bigger game.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
we see the like there's all those four flows we were talking about. Like right now we see hey, I'm a victim. Reptilians are abusing me. People, the government is abusing me.
Flow one,
Yeah.
somebody else doing it to you.
Yeah.
Or flow one, somebody else doing it to me. That's flow one.
Yeah. And we become victims and we're going through stuff and hey, you're a bad person. You're doing this to me. You're doing that to me. And like, it's a problem. It's not good. But then you go higher and you're like, oh, I've done it to others in my past lives. I was actually torturing someone. I killed someone. And you understand, you too had a different role. You too played a reptilian, an archon, another entity. You want to play succubus or incubus. And just like, hey, it's an experience. I'm going to do it to find out what it's like. And so you do that. And
Flow
then,
two.
yeah. You want to explain more?
No. Go ahead. I'm just counting.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, then you go on another level, and now you see oh look, there's a being causing that another being, and that being causing that being, and you're watching government against government, the reptilians against humans, different races against different races, and all these ways, but you're just watching it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually we're watching this tortoise beings against reptilians, reptilians against humanity, it's just we're watching.
Mm-hmm.
And we go into the final stage of oh, I did all that. I did all that to myself eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
the fourth flow.
It's hard for people to believe that why would I do that?
Yeah.
But it's a thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, thank you. Bye now. Gotta go.
Bye.
But yeah, this is some stuff we just looked into tonight, and it all started with it looked like it wasn't going to work because we were the focus was on someone who was having difficulty getting out of body and had an issue with the consciousness, and so we started working on that, and she had difficulty getting out of body and the consciousness of it all. And finally, we sort of threw in the towel. It seemed like it wasn't working, but now that the pressure was off, we'll just go ahead and, hey, we'll just use some of our tricks and things that we can do to see if we can see what happened. And this all came out, and it actually was the session for the client after all.
Yeah,
after all that.
Because we were I ended up talking to her like who's doing that, and a name pops up, and I'm seeing that's him, but I'm like, that's not just him, it's me, it's everyone, and everyone is that.
Yeah, him being the client.
Yeah.
But it's not just the client; it's you, and it's me, and it's you too are involved in this.
Don't deny it.
Sit down, listen.
So yeah, it's deep stuff. I think
Yeah.
it might be hardcore for some people, but I think it should be heard. It's good.
Yeah. Well, all right. Hey, thanks for watching. Comments are welcome. If you would like us to do a deep dive for you, we can do them online on Zoom. It's a video conferencing thing, or we can do them remote, like we did. The one we did today was remote. In other words, you just give us your stuff, your information, what you would like to look into, what you would like us to look into, your past life stuff, entity issues, my lab, secret space stuff, all this sort of things we've been working with and doing these deep dives and then sharing with people what we've discovered. So thank you for watching. And thank you for doing that.
Sure.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye-bye.